Hey YouTube, it's Mike Pang Gangster, and today I want to talk a little bit about something that I feel like is misleading information, and that is item power, rare items, legendary items, and unique items. Okay, when we look at the big YouTubers, or at least some of the ones that got a lot of views for talking about what items to look for and stuff like that. There's a lot of misleading information. Stick around. I'm going to explain to you why this is misleading. It's because a lot of people are saying, for example, rare items are better than legendaries and unique items suck. And these are all false. Also, for example, people say item power once you get an item that's ancestral, item power doesn't really matter anymore. All you're really looking for is the affix on it. And these are all stuff that are misleading because all of the stuff they're saying is not exactly true. For example, rare items are not better than legendaries. For people that believe that, I have no understanding of the math behind drop rates. Um, the only reason why rare items are more obviously picked by people and put legendary fix on them more than legendary is because there's so many more that drop. Just to give you guys a random number, just to give you guys an example, if 100 rare items would drop, I don't know the ratio on this, but I'm just giving you guys an example so you guys could get an understanding of this. If there's 100 rare items that drop, most likely there's one legendary that will drop. So for every 100 rare items, there's one legendary. So if you would have to look at 100 rare items and one legendary, I'm pretty sure that out of 100 rare items, you're going to find an item that is more suitable than the legendary one that dropped. But vice versa, if the legendary drop would be the same ratio as rares, and there will be 100 rare items that dropped and 100 legendaries, I guarantee you by the end of your choice, you most likely will be picking a legendary one. The reason for this is that the more of an item quality dropping, most likely you're going to get the particular effects that you need for your character's build. So automatically people assume, oh, well, rare items are better than legendary. That is not the real case here. The only reason is what I basically told you as an example. There's just much more rare items dropping. Most likely there'll be one that suits your build more better. Just at the fact that the quantity that are dropping, you most likely will find something that suits your playstyle, suits your character's build, right? But the fact that people are saying rares are actually better than legendaries, it's false. So if you guys look very, very carefully, you eventually will find legendaries that will have the effects that you want and will be better automatically than a rare item. The other thing is item power. How important is item power? Or item power is very important. You know, as you get to the higher end of the game, you're gonna get to the point where you're gonna basically have all the items pretty much, well, not everything, but you got to have a pretty good build going on with your character, and you're going to be looking for that next upgradable item. And what you're going to be looking for is that highest item power that you can get. So the highest power item that you can get are all over 800 plus. As you can see, I have a few that are 800 plus. Now the highest I've seen are actually 820, which I actually have one right here, which is a unique 820 item power. So of course, what you're looking for is basically, for example, like this weapon here, but you're looking a version of it for like 820. That basically will most likely give you the best roll of stats on it. It doesn't mean it's going to give you exactly what this weapon here has, but if it would land that this weapon would be exactly the same effects, but 820 power, automatically the stats would be better, right? They would have higher stats to it. It's common sense. Okay, so don't be misled by the information that rares are better than legendaries. That is not true. And don't be misleading by item powers. Doesn't really matter as long as you get the effects that you want. That is not true also, because what you're looking for is the item power with the effects that you want. That really matters, because that's the whole point of the end game, is for you to maximize your build at the maximum that you can, right? And the other thing is talk a little bit about uniques. A lot of people talk about uniques. A lot of people say uniques are bad. Is this completely false? I would say not 100% false, but it is kind of false, because there are some uniques that are really, really good in this game. Unfortunate, it doesn't just basically um, work for everybody's build. So uniques are uniques for a reason. Um, they're not things that you could just basically pick and start switching them and putting different legendaries effects on them or switching their stats. Uniques are uniques for a reason. They basically come in a particular way, and that's what you get out of it, right? Now, of course, with time, because we're still very, very early in the Diablo life, Diablo 4 life, there are going to be people that are going to find builds that are going to be very, very suitable to have particular uniques in them. And some uniques are going to be very important for you to basically keep around, especially when you get the ones that have 820 item power, at least until like there's a new tier, right? So my my advice for the people that are looking at the uniques and sometimes they're like, oh, but this just doesn't fit my build. If they have a high item power, keep them around because you don't know what's gonna come up in the next month. Someone's most likely gonna figure out some sort of build that will require this unique item, and it will be very, very overpowered. Okay, I'm not saying that every unique is gonna be overpowered, but I will say that a lot more uniques than people are actually using at the moment are actually going to be very, very, very suitable and very, very good for different builds. Unfortunate, we're very young in the early life of the game itself, so we don't have all the best possible builds out there. I feel like a lot of people are playing very particular builds, and all they're doing it up. They're basically tuning up that build and trying to make that particular build. They're not actually trying a lot of different builds yet because it's kind of expensive to try a lot of different builds in this game because you do need a lot of coins to be able to like basically re-roll or basically respect and all that stuff, right? So it's going to take a bit of time, but I'm guaranteeing you that in the future you're going to see uniques that are going to be very, very important in this game. Like every other Diablo, there's always been builds that come out later on that are like game-breaking builds, right? So be expected to see them sometime in the future, right? So hopefully there's a better understanding of like what is the truth behind the item powers and the item rarity of it. Like for example, unique to legendary and rares. Of course, there's definitely every aspect of the name itself. There's a reason that rares are more common than legendaries and uniques, and legendaries are more common than uniques. So just keep that in mind, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the future. Have a good day, guys. Bye bye.